Good morning. Today is the 18th of July 2024 and I'm going to go through my pre-market plan and levels. Before we start, I'm going to just quickly recap the news, which will just make us aware of what could be moving the market later today. We had 8:30 news, initial jobless claims, didn't see much of a movement, in fact hardly anything. And then we've got a few Fed speaking today at 1:45. Quite a lot actually, and in fact only one that's at 1:45 today. The rest are relatively low impact news, and then news after the market, so we could see some movement on the futures afterwards. And then tomorrow, not a great deal, Fed speaking as well. So that's it really, so just be wary around 1:45 today. On my screen is the ES, this is a 1 hour time frame, which is the S&P E-mini futures. Basically, we're pretty much where we were looking at similar levels in yesterday. Yesterday we had this area of demand, and we drew this in the pre-market. It's been there for a few days, and look where we came into. We came straight in, right into this area. It's exactly the area we were watching for. Let's zoom in a bit, literally to the cent. I actually found a short here, I think I purchased around that area there, and I rode it up for a nice 5R in the end. Decent 5R move. I did also take a loss here as well, so overall at the end of the day 2R up. I took a 1R loss where we stopped about there. In fact, I was up okay, I didn't quite hit my 3R target, and then it came back against me. But then that's why we do these levels, because had I just waited for the actual level rather than coming where it was, I think it was around up there, there's that candle there I got in on, probably on the break of that one. Had I just waited for the actual level, then it would have been okay, and that's what I did. So when it came back down the second time, I got out there. I think I had a 3R target there and a 5R target was about there. So, and even though it looks small risk reward on the hourly, obviously I use the hourly and then I use the 2 minute to find my entry. Okay, so today levels are really the same. I'm looking for the market to pull back into this region. Bearing in mind we've been here once, we've been here twice, once in the pre-market. We've got a bit of volume down here as well, around 56.50 area. So really want to see it pull back into at least a pre-market low or yesterday's low for a bounce. So this is a zone, this area here between the pre-market low and the yesterday's low, so I'm watching for a bounce around that area. And obviously if we do lose this area 56.32, then look for a break and retest. Let's just find a target. If we lose that area, and there's a lack of volume in this area, so we talked about this previously as well when we were coming up into this level, coming back down. I said if we lose that level, which is the same place now, just a few days later, there's not much volume on the volume profile, and so we could see like a grind down day with not much volume until we get down. Even here we've got an area of confidence, but even there's not a great deal of volume there, so we can watch that area, but the main volume comes in at this point of control. So that's going to be our main bounce. Not sure we get there today, but that's an area to watch out for. Let's flick to the daily. It's always good to start with the daily. So this is our new control bar. This one here, you could say that one as well. We came down, we retested that area, but we've engulfed the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days worth of trading prior to that. So these days have kind of, whoever was pushing for a long, then they're obviously holding on to their possible trade. So I'm just looking at some levels on the daily. So we got these two pivots here we just talked about, and potentially we've got this area. This is a better area I'm watching as well, this region. So let's just redraw that. So if I were to find a region to look for a bounce, or a region where we could see the daily potentially pull back, break below, it's around this area. Point of control, we've got the 50 moving average coming up into that region as well. So 55.20 is the area to watch for. And let's see if we're looking for a swing bounce. Back to the hourly. Oh, sorry, one thing I didn't look at the volume as well. Volume wise, we had pretty low volume on this run up, which was okay. It's just a move upwards, and then we start to get higher above average volume, and you can see then we've had a lot of indecision. We had a green day, a red day, a green day, and then pulled back a bit. Another day where it pulled back a bit. Looked like we wanted to break out, but we couldn't break the highs, couldn't break these highs here previous day, and then we had a solid red day. So potentially if we lose that red day, then we could see it come down. And again, we had higher volume on that one. I know previous day it's half the size candle, but with slightly above average volume as well. So whether we found a top, I don't know, something to keep an eye on, but we are pretty extended up here on the RSI as well, and we are pretty extended away from the 20, the 50 and the 200, so we are due a pullback. Back to the hourly, let's just recap the levels. So just to recap, I'm watching for a bounce down here, and another area I'm watching for is a break and retest of the pre-market high and yesterday's high as well. So this area here, so 56, 65, maybe 60 to 65, break and retest long. So I want to see it come in, break it to confirm, pull back into that area. Maybe, probably want to see it pull back into pre-market high and then push back up. So break, retest, push. If we are long, then we've got a target area as well. This area of confluence there, where it's bottoms and tops of candles, bodies and pivots, tops and bottoms of candles, and we've got a little bit of volume above as well. So this is a good area to take profit, or at least take a proportion of profit. If we can't break above this area, we can watch it also for rejection. Just one thing to note, we have now closed below the 200 moving average on the hourly. We broke out but instantly rejected it, so it'd be interesting to see what happens when we get to 56.60. Potentially just putting the pivots together, we could be looking at some sort of flag pattern, but like this. So come up to the top, down to the bottom, up to the extreme, down here, and then is in an hourly downtrend, so the trend would maybe say we could be looking at something like that. So that's another pattern to watch for as well. Is this? Let's just draw it in. So we've got it there for tomorrow. So that pivot and that pivot, that pivot and that pivot, and that's the range we're looking at. So potentially we could see it fill the gap in this range as well. So we'll keep an eye on that. If we see a rejection around that area, then we've got a bounce area there as well, so we could watch that area for a bounce, even though we are targeting down here. We don't want to ignore this kind of bear flag setup. Okay, that's it really. So just to recap, break and retest of pre-market high, yesterday high. Really want to see it break above both those levels before coming back, so we don't just get stopped on that resistance, so it doesn't stop in that resistance. Or we can watch for a bounce in this region or off of this lower trend line. And if we do break that, then we can look for the break and retest short as well, and we can probably use this trend line as the break and retest area as well. Okay, SPY next, exactly the same, waiting for a bounce in this region. We've got the 200 catching up as well, so potentially it could be there as well, acting as additional area of support. We've got an area of confluence, bottoms of pivots as well, at tops there and bottoms over here. So this area is a big area. The point of control also goes through that area, which is the volume point of control. So this is our bounce area, exactly the same as ES, and that's around 556.90, 557 area down to 556. So this entire region we can watch. And again, break and retest of pre-market high. If you take it on a 2-minute, we've got some distance away from the yesterday's high, and we're closing above the 20 moving average, so we could watch for that play, use a lower time frame. higher probability than a rejection because we're kind of still on this massive daily uptrend. And that's it. Not sure about rejections up here yet. We'll play that if we get there. But these are the two levels I'm watching, that level and that level. And again, with both of them, break and retest, bounce down here or break and retest short. SPX. I quite like the rejection at 56.14. This area here, bottoms of candles, tops of these pivots. So this region, so it's a region, not just a line. That area there for rejection. Got the 50 moving average just below. I also quite like this area here as well, area of confluence as well. So tops, bottoms, tops, bottoms candles, and we came in and tested that region again yesterday. So I quite like the bounce down in this area, and that is around 55.83 approximately. And that's it. NQ. Okay, I can see a rejection, and that's if we pull back up into this region, and we got bottoms of these pivots. It was a previous area of demand, now it's an area of supply, area of confluence as well, bottoms and tops, bottoms. We came down, retested it, and dropped down yesterday as well. And we've got the 50 moving average, which is curved around, as you can see, this red line. So this region here, 20,340 roughly for a rejection, 20,350. If we get up here, we're going to watch out for rejection as well. And we could probably watch the break and retest of pre-market high. Prefer yesterday's high only because of the volume. If we break it, if we break above yesterday's high, come back in, then we would have taken out this liquidity. It could be still sitting there and looking for a bounce. Equally, it could just reject back down as well. And then other bounce places. I'm torn between 19,739 and this area here, probably this entire region. So it's going to be tough to find something, that area there for a bounce. Last time we were down there, came down, big reaction up, came back down, touched it, massive reaction up, so I quite like that. So let's watch around 19,800, 19,850 for a bounce. I think that's it. QQQ, same. I quite like the bounce in this area of demand of 480. Quite a lot going in, big volume shelf as well there as well. So I quite like the bounce in that region. That's the only bounce. Break and retest of 486.28. Break and retest long. Prefer to break it over the yesterday's high 487.20. And then we've got a target just below there, and that can be our rejection area as well. 490.36 for rejection, and that'll be a higher probability rejection because we're coming into this area of confluence, and we've got a bit of volume above as well. So lack of volume just up here, and that's it really. The only bounce I can see is down in this region. Okay, crude oil next. So why has it changed? We had the rollover. So contracts rolled over yesterday, which is why my levels are all out. So let's just clear, and I'll just redo them. So clear all drawings. A bit annoying it does that. And that's why it's always nice to have a fresh start. And let's draw in this trend line again. Yeah, that trend line, and then we cloned it. That trend line there. So playing this channel, so you can see we're playing it up, down, up to the top of the channel, back down, up to the top. We broke out, but then rejected. So maybe there's an equity grab up there. People looking for the breakout of this channel, and now we're coming back in. Areas of confluence, this area here, and that's around 80.23 to 80.50, this region. We've got a new double top up here. Let's put that in. A little bit area confidence, tops of candles, bottoms of candles, two tops there, so that's a good area, 82.23 for the rejection. Or we can watch out for the break and retest long. So if we do break out of this channel and we break the pre-market high, I quite like that. We are in an uptrend as well, so it's higher probability. And then if we come back down into this region here, let's just find a good level just exactly there, and that's perfect. I really like that area for a bounce. So if we come back down into 78, 88, bounce around there, I like it because we've got a pivot, lots of touches here, a pivot there, a break and retest of that level there, lots of touches, a few touches there and a few touches there. So that's my prime area for bounce down here. And that's it on oil. Break and retest of both the trend line or pre-market high, or if we pull down, bounce down here. Right, let's just save that. So I think the reason I lose my drawings every day is because I don't hit the save button. I don't know why. We're looking at gold next, and you can see we're holding this trend line. In fact, it got stronger. We could draw another trend line there. Let's do it again. Potentially seeing a bit of a reversal. Top, double top, break, retest of that area, back down. If I was looking for a reversal around 24.90, 24.88, that would be a great reversal area. Let's see why it would reverse. So broken previous all-time highs, which is this region here, to mark it off. Oh, look at that, we broke the all-time high twice, came back and retested the previous all-time highs. That's interesting. So it's always good to have these levels drawn off, you know, so we can keep an eye on them. If we get back up into this region, maybe look for the rejection. Still in an uptrend, we've got to really break this downtrend. Sorry, we've got to break this blue uptrend before we can consider looking for decent longs, unless they're scalps. If I were to find a bounce, probably these areas here for a bounce: 2400, 2426 and 2445. Other than that, there's not much really on gold, other than the break and retest of pre-market high or break and retest of yesterday's high, and that will put us into no man's land and unknown territory. So we can watch for the break and retest of that level into new all-time highs. Next up is RTY, which is the Russell 2000. Really, really strong right now. Let's just do the fibs as well to see where we are on this move. There you go, almost coincides with some levels we've got as well. So if we pull back down to 50%, we've already got a level there, 21.88, 21.90 area for a bounce. And then if we pull back down further, another level, look at that, there's no coincidences in the market. There's 618, right on this level we've been watching as well. And that is at 21.50. So let's just zoom out and see what they coincide with. Big areas of confluence. Pivots there. Pivot there. Confluence along here as well. Like I said, there's no coincidences at all. Another pivot there. So these are the areas to watch for a bounce. I'll leave the fibs up because it'd be nice to see what happens. Watching for a bounce here and a bounce there. Next up is YM. Oh, also we could watch for the break and retest of new all-time. Are we at all-time highs? No, we're not at all-time highs, but we are right into this daily level. Let's just mark that in as well. Template daily. That's the weekly. Here we go, nice daily level there as well, so don't need all these. Go to that one. Go to that one. That's the main one we're watching for the rejection, and that's the rejection we're seeing right now. Absolutely spot on. Bottoms of candles. I basically try and find the most touches and then average it out and look for the most recent pivot, and that's why I've got that level. Could have taken the. It's probably playable right now as a short. But we'll see. That's it really. We can watch bounces down at the 618 levels as well. YM, which is the Dow Jones. New all-time high yesterday. Day before yesterday. And the only place I can see a bounce is down here. Area of demand, demand, demand. So if we get down to 40,500, we can watch it for a bounce. And then 40,000 psychological number, watch out for a bounce. These are the only two areas to watch. Did I say 40, 50? Yeah, 4,500, this area here as well. So we can watch this area for the first bounce. Bit of confluence there, you can watch that, but 40,000 is this region here as well. In particular, tops of these two pivots, a breakout, a retest, a breakout, a retest. So that's an area to watch for a bounce. So 40,000 is a key area. And then finally Bitcoin, and then we'll look at some order flow. Bitcoin, as you can see, is in this range. So probably expect it to reject around there, come back in and just continue playing this until it decides to make the next move. Kind of got a bounce area there at 66,486. That area there. I think that's all I can see for rejection. Otherwise, if we come back down to this region, we can watch for a bounce off of there. I don't really day trade Bitcoin, but we've got some options. Let's look at ES and just look over to the order flow screen, see what it's doing in the last few minutes. Could you say that's come in? If we were to draw it more accurately, potentially rejecting that upper trend line, that flag. So let's just remember, we got 56.40 for a bounce, that area, and then 56.70, 56.67 for a break and retest.